Talk about a mess. Roughly 100 cars crashed this morning in a massive pileup on one of Denver's busiest roads. Now drivers are picking up the pieces and trying to fix their cars. That crash happened early this morning on 6th Avenue at Calumet. Black ice turned the road into an ice skating rink. Denver Fire says 83 people were evaluated on scene and 13 were taken to the hospital. One person has serious injuries tonight. The backups and the closure caused traffic problems all morning.
Let's get to 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joining us. Courtney, I know you spoke with some drivers who were in all of this and got hit.
Yeah, that's right. The first 911 call came in around 5:40 this morning. According to Denver police, drivers say that 6th Avenue approaching the overpass was extremely icy. One woman told us her brakes were useless on the ice. She could see she was about to crash, but there was nothing anyone could do to stop.
For me, I was able to stop thanks to the man in the brown coat.
Because of a stranger trying to warn drivers of a pileup up ahead,
I just recognized something was wrong. It's not normal to see a bumper and a man waving.
Margaret Ola was able to stop her car before crashing into others.
I just thought, like, okay, we're good, we're stopped, and then I immediately got hit from the backside, and I ended up facing north on 6, and I just prayed that I didn't go over the wall.
Debris was everywhere on 6th Avenue.
People who just don't have wheels on their cars anymore, you could see radiators and fenders. I mean, it was just the gambit.
Denver Fire says they had to use power tools to free people from 5 to 6 cars. The damage was so bad they couldn't open their doors. Cars that couldn't be driven away were towed to Lot C at Empower Field.
Like, I've only had to change a tire like twice before.
Claire Hager,
I'm gonna be the last one in this place.
recently moved to Colorado.
Just moved here 6 months ago.
She got her brand new car 6 months ago too. Now it needs a few repairs.
But it's definitely pretty terrifying just watching it all happen.
She says before crashing,
I was slamming on my brakes like over and over and over again.
she could see the pileup, but there was nothing she could do to stop her car on the icy road.
At that point, I had enough time to even think about, like, okay, where should I hit? Are there people outside? Like, you had time to think because the ice went back so far.
Looking around the parking lot, seeing smashed and crushed cars.
Oh, wow.
She says she's feeling grateful the damage to her car isn't as bad as others, and that the majority of drivers were able to walk away from the wreckage.
Everyone just wanted to help each other, which was really great to see.
Drivers involved in the crash today say 6th Avenue did not seem to be treated with any de-icer. We reached out to the Denver Department of Transportation and Infrastructure about that. The city says road conditions at 4:30 this morning did not call for de-icer and that it would have been ineffective.
But certainly 100 cars is just a big mess as well. So, all right, Courtney, thank you.
Well, speaking of that weather, we are taking a live look at Loveland, where the first measurable snow for the metro area meant a nice little dumping out there in the mountains. It's beautiful at Loveland, which is open now. Let's get with Chris Bianchi. I was checking out 9 News Plus, and I didn't realize so many areas got so much snow. Some places several inches, right?
Yeah, Alex and Jenny. And also, I kind of want to quickly explain black ice, how it forms here. So start things off with what we saw last night, right? I don't have to tell most of you at home. It snowed a fair bit, including here in Denver, officially 4.5 inches of snow, our first measurable snowfall of the season for us here in Denver. But that meant that we saw some melting. And eventually last night, most of the roads were pretty wet last night, and then it refreezes. So we got a thin layer of ice. This is what we term black ice. The reason we call it black ice is because it's just thin enough to where the pavement looks like it's actually just kind of normal, right? It looks like there's no water, there's nothing on it there. But the problem is you've got that thin layer of ice, and it turns those roads, boom, into a skating rink, and especially bridges and overpasses. They freeze over first, so you've got cold air above and below those bridges and overpasses. So as a result, those tend to be extra slick. So again, you've got that thin layer of ice, and it's very difficult to see. That's what black ice is, and that's what we saw, unfortunately, this morning, leading to that pileup that Courtney, Alex, and Jenny were just talking about a second ago. Now, good news is we're done with the snow for most of the state, but one spot where we still could see some of that winter weather advisory for the Elkheta and Park Mountains that will run through the upcoming weekend. That's the one spot that's going to be dealing with that snow. But tomorrow and the rest of the weekend, we're going to really warm things up in terms of those temperatures. I'll have details on how warm it gets. And also, Alex and Jenny, I'm going to have details on some pretty gusty winds that could be in place for parts of the foothills later on this weekend as well. I'll have details on that coming up in my full forecast.
All right, sounds like there's a lot we need to know. We'll check in with you in a bit.
It has been more than a year since 5 men were arrested in the death of Elijah McClain. They were set to be formally charged today, but the judge postponed the arraignment now until January 20th.
McClain's mother, Shanine, attended that hearing virtually, and she objected to this delay. This is the second postponement since August. These are the men who were in the courtroom today. Former Aurora police officer Jason Rosenblatt, current officers Nathan Woodyard and Randy Rodema, along with paramedics Peter Chiuniak and Jeremy Cooper. They all face 32 charges, including manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. A grand jury indicted them last year. Elijah McClain died more than 3 years ago. Police stopped him on his way home from a convenience store, even though he had done nothing wrong. They put him in a carotid hold, and paramedics injected him with the sedative ketamine. The coroner recently changed the cause of McClain's death, saying he died of complications from ketamine after forcible restraint. The man found guilty of shooting and killing a young woman in downtown Denver will spend the rest of his life in prison. A judge sentenced Michael Close to life without the possibility of parole.
He was convicted of shooting and killing 21-year-old Isabella Thallis and also injuring her boyfriend after an argument about the couple's dog using the bathroom outside Close's apartment. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow is in the courtroom this afternoon. Hi, Matt.
Jenny, there was no mystery today. Michael Close was sentenced to the mandatory life in prison without the possibility of parole, but there was plenty of emotion as Isabella Thallis' family addressed the court before Close was sentenced. On June 10th, 2020, Isabella Thallis was walking her dog with her boyfriend, Darian Simon, in Denver's Ballpark neighborhood. At one point, they encouraged the dog to go to the bathroom, not knowing they were right outside Michael Close's apartment. Prosecutors say Close shouted, quote, "Are you going to just yell at that dog or train it?" And that Simon responded, "Mind your own business. Rocco is a good dog." Prosecutors say Close then fired more than 20 shots from an assault-style rifle, hitting and killing Thallis and seriously wounding Simon. In September, a jury found Close guilty of first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. Today in court, Thallis' grieving father said Isabella was his true love, and he told Close he hoped God has mercy on his soul.
There's no winners in this. You know, we go home after this, our family's broke, still without my daughter. Their family's broke, believe it or not. He'll go to jail. They're without a son, a brother. So there's no winners in this.
Josh Thallis said one day he hopes to forgive Michael Close, maybe even visit him in prison. But right now, he's just not there yet. Jenny, Alex.
Now, the door is closed on Michael Close, but Isabella's mom, Anna, does have that civil suit pending against DPD because, you know, there's this whole other element to the shooting that the gun belonged to a former Denver police sergeant. And, you know, mom thinks that there should be some level of accountability there.
This civil chapter is not closed yet. You're absolutely right.
All right, Matt, thanks for being there. Thank you.
The FDA has issued a warning about another medicine shortage. This time it's a widely used antibiotic. The feds say amoxicillin is in short supply. At the same time, cases of RSV increase across the country. Amoxicillin is not used to treat RSV directly, but sometimes doctors will prescribe it to address secondary bacterial infections with those kids. The FDA says some pharmacy owners are now reporting low inventory and manufacturers are struggling to keep up.
Well, we got a heartwarming story for you on this Friday. 8-year-old Nash Johnson, he wanted a job so he could buy an Xbox, naturally.
And rather than ask his mom for the cash, he went out and actually applied for a job.
If anybody I know watching this, put a thumbs up to me and say, I know him, and you'll know me when you know me. I just want to friend my friends on the Xbox who play the Xbox.
This job search took him online, where most job searches happen now, right? He filled out an application to be a dishwasher at a nearby restaurant. Let me remind you, Nash is only 8 years old.
You said you're under 18, yeah.
Yes, it didn't ask me the actual age, and it didn't ask me when I was born, so I put I was under 18.
That kid is not afraid to fail. He is a go-getter.
Mom Belinda had no idea that her son Nash was going to send this application. Now the restaurant, of course, could not give him a job because he is 8, but they did invite him to orientation where, wait for it, they gave him that Xbox that he had been dreaming about.
I was like shocked, very shocked. I wish I had the job in the Xbox. I do have the Xbox, but I wish I had the job.
He's so sweet and like the gumption to to go for a job at 8 years old. I've been like, Mom, I'll clean the dishes or something, you know, I'll clean a toilet, but I don't want a job at 8.
He's a little go-getter. Also, kid, you got your whole life to work. Enjoy this time.
There
where
you
you
go.
don't have to. But hey, let's give Mom some credit here too. That
Truly.
she raised this little boy to know it's time to go get himself a job if he wants something.
Yep, absolutely.
Good job, Mom.
So sweet. So only the best athletes earn that 9 new swag chain. You know that. Scotty Gange is here today. He's got a new winner coming up for you.
Plus, we have some very special guests in studio to talk about your health and how you can help with healthcare research.